I came home early, expecting my wife in bed, grieving. Her laugh echoed upstairs, a sound I hadn't heard in years. I opened the bedroom door, and my heart stopped. Her therapist was there, in our bed. My name is Michael, and I'm just a regular guy from Seattle, Washington, trying to keep my head above water. For the past 5 years, I've been working 60-hour weeks at an office downtown, grinding through spreadsheets and meetings to keep my family afloat. My wife, Emily, used to be the light of my life. Her laugh could brighten the gloomiest Seattle rain. But everything changed when her parents died in a car crash 5 years ago. It was like someone flipped a switch, and the woman I loved disappeared into a shadow of herself. Emily didn't just grieve. She sank into a depression so deep it swallowed her whole. She stopped leaving our bedroom, stopped smiling, stopped living. I'd come home from work to find her curled up under the covers, staring at the wall, her eyes empty. Our son, Liam, was just a baby when it happened, and I took on everything: diapers, feedings, laundry, dishes, you name it. I cooked her meals, brought them to her bedside, but she'd barely touch them. When I was at work, she'd order takeout, the bags piling up by the door like a monument to her sorrow. I tried to be patient, I swear. I told myself she just needed time. But days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. 5 years to be exact. 5 years of me being a single parent to Liam, now 6, who barely knows his mom beyond the ghost in our bedroom. 5 years of no intimacy, no conversations, no warmth. I can't even remember the last time she kissed me, or even looked at me with anything but exhaustion. I'd come home after a long day, my bones aching, and still scrub the dishes, fold the laundry, and tuck Liam into bed with a story, all while Emily stayed locked in her grief. It's not like I didn't try to help. I paid for her therapy, 15 grand a year, hoping Dr. James Carter could pull her out of the darkness. I listened when she'd let me, held her when she cried, but it was like pouring water into a broken cup. It just kept leaking out. I was drowning too, but I couldn't stop. Liam needed me, the bills needed me, the house needed me, and Emily, she needed me too, but in a way that felt like it was sucking the life out of me. I'd lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling of our little house in Capitol Hill, wondering how we got here. I'd think about my brother, David, who died 3 years ago in a motorcycle accident. I couldn't even go to his funeral because I was working overtime to cover Emily's tuition for a master's she never finished. I grieved him in silence, swallowing the pain to keep our family together. But Emily, she didn't see my hurt. She couldn't. Her own was too heavy. I'm not a saint. I got angry sometimes, felt resentment creeping in like damp Seattle fog, but I loved her. I still do. I just don't know how much longer I can carry this weight alone. Something's gotta give, and I'm terrified it's gonna be me. I couldn't keep living like a ghost in my own home. One evening, after tucking Liam into bed, I stood outside our bedroom door, my heart pounding. The house was quiet, save for the faint hum of Seattle's city lights filtering through the window. I took a deep breath, pushed the door open, and saw Emily lying there, her face half buried in the pillow, the same place she'd been for years. I sat on the edge of the bed, the mattress creaking under my weight. Her hand felt cold when I took it in mine, and I spoke as softly as I could, like I was coaxing a scared animal. Emily, I know you're hurting, losing your parents. It broke something in you. I get that. It's been hell for both of us. My voice cracked, but I pushed on. But we can't keep living like this, stuck in this endless loop of sadness. Liam misses you. He barely knows you anymore. I miss you too. Your laugh, your smile, the way we used to dance in the kitchen to stupid pop songs. Please, for him, for us, can you try? Just one small step? Her eyes flickered to mine, and for a moment, I thought I saw a spark of the old Emily. A single tear rolled down her cheek, catching the dim light. She squeezed my hand weakly, her voice barely a whisper. Michael, I don't know if I can. I'm trying, but it's too heavy. I swallowed hard, fighting the frustration bubbling up. I'm trying too, Emily. I'm carrying everything, Liam, the house, the bills. I'm drowning here. Can't you see that? My tone was still gentle, but there was an edge I couldn't hide. She didn't respond, just stared at the ceiling, her silence louder than any words. The air felt thick, like it was pressing down on me. I stood up, pacing the room, my hands running through my hair. I've been patient, Emily. 5 years. I've cooked your meals, cleaned the house, raised our son alone. I paid 15 grand a year for your therapy, hoping it'd help, but nothing's changed. I can't keep doing this alone. Her eyes narrowed, and for the first time in months, she sat up, her voice sharp. You think you understand? You have no idea what it's like to lose both your parents, Michael. You don't get to tell me how to feel. That hit me like a punch. My brother David's face flashed in my mind, his laugh, his stupid motorcycle helmet he loved so much. Don't you dare, I snapped, my voice rising. You think I don't know loss? When David died, I didn't even get to say goodbye. I was working 70-hour weeks to pay for your degree, for this house, for us. I couldn't go to his funeral because I was keeping us afloat. I grieved too, Emily, but I didn't get to stop. I had to keep going for you, for Liam. She flinched, but her jaw tightened. You always throw that in my face, how you sacrificed everything, like I asked you to. You didn't have to ask, I shouted, my patience snapping like a frayed rope. I did it because I love you, but you're not even trying. You're leaving me to carry this family alone, and I'm tired, Emily. I'm so damn tired. The room went silent, the kind of silence that feels like it's choking you. She turned away, pulling the blanket over her shoulder shoulders, shutting me out again. I stood there, my chest heaving, tears burning my eyes. I wanted to shake her, to scream until she understood, but it was like yelling at a brick wall. I grabbed my keys, stormed out, and slammed the door behind me. The sound echoed through the house, a final note in a song I didn't want to sing anymore. I couldn't stay in that house another second. My chest felt tight, like the walls were closing in. I grabbed Liam from his room, his sleepy eyes confused as I bundled him into the car. "Where are we going, Daddy?" he asked, clutching his stuffed dinosaur. I forced a smile, my voice softer than my heart felt. "Just a little adventure, buddy. Mommy needs some rest." I drove us to a hotel near Lake Union, the city lights reflecting off the water like a promise I couldn't keep. I needed space, just one night to breathe. In the hotel room, Liam curled up on the bed, his small snores filling the silence. I sat at the desk, staring at my reflection in the dark window. My eyes were bloodshot, my shoulders slumped from years of carrying too much. I thought about Emily, about the life we used to have picnics at Gasworks Park, her teasing me about my terrible coffee-making skills. I still loved her, but love wasn't enough anymore. I was breaking, and Liam deserved better. We all did. I pulled out my phone and started typing a letter, my fingers shaking. I poured everything into it, every hope, every hurt. "Emily, I love you more than words can say," I wrote. "I've tried to be your rock, to hold us together, but I'm tired. I work 60 hours a week, pay for this house, for Liam's school, for your therapy. I clean, I cook, I raise our son alone. I lost David too, and I didn't get to grieve because I was keeping us afloat. I can't do this forever. If you can't try for Liam, for yourself, I don't know if I can stay. I don't want to lose you, but I'm losing myself." I finished the letter at 2 a.m., my eyes burning. I saved it, knowing I'd leave it for her in the morning. Liam stirred, mumbling in his sleep, and I tucked a blanket around him, my heart aching. How do you explain to a 6-year-old that his mom might never come back to him? I drove him to school at dawn, his little hand in mine as we walked to the gate. "Will Mommy be okay?" he asked. I swallowed the lump in my throat. "I hope so, buddy." Our house in Capitol Hill was on the way to my office, so I stopped by. The kitchen was a mess, takeout containers scattered, dishes piled in the sink. I placed the letter on the counter, where I knew Emily would see it when she came down for her usual coffee delivery. My hands trembled as I set it down, the weight of my words sinking in. I didn't want to lose her, but I couldn't keep living like this. I loved her, but love doesn't pay the bills or raise a kid alone. I drove to work, my mind a blur. The Seattle skyline loomed outside my office window, but all I could see was that letter, sitting there like a ticking bomb. Would she read it? Would it change anything? I wanted to believe she'd fight for us, but deep down, I feared she'd just let it all slip away. I stared at my computer screen, numbers and emails meaningless. All I could think about was Liam's face, his hope, and how I'd do anything to protect him, even if it meant breaking my own heart. My phone buzzed at 11 a.m., right in the middle of a meeting. Emily's name lit up the screen, and my stomach twisted. I excused myself, stepping into the hallway of our downtown Seattle office. Her voice was sharp, trembling with anger. "How could you, Michael? You left that letter threatening to divorce me? After I lost my parents, you're trying to take my family away too?" Her words hit like daggers, each one cutting deeper. I gripped the phone, my voice low. "Emily, this isn't the time. I'm at work. Can we talk tonight?" She hung up, leaving me with the echo of her rage. All day, her words gnawed at me. I barely focused, my mind replaying the letter, her accusations. By the time I pulled into our driveway in Capitol Hill, my hands were shaking. I expected to find her in bed, like always. But when I opened the door, there she was standing in the living room, her eyes blazing. It was the first time in years I'd seen her out of bed after work. Her hair was messy, her face flushed, but she stood tall, like a storm ready to break. "You're selfish, Michael," she spat, her voice loud enough to rattle the windows. "You think you're some hero, working all the time, but you're a failure as a husband, a failure as a dad." She grabbed a coffee mug from the counter and hurled it across the room. It shattered against the wall, ceramic shards scattering like my thoughts. "You don't get it. You don't know what I'm going through. You judge me, push me, when all I needed was for you to listen." I stood frozen, her words slicing through me. "Emily, I've been listening for 5 years," I said, my voice shaking but firm. "I've held you, paid for your therapy, raised Liam alone. I'm not judging you. I'm begging you to come back to us." My eyes stung, but I refused to cry. "Not yet." She laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. "You're nothing like Dr. Carter. He listens. He lets me be me. He doesn't make me feel like a burden." Her words were a punch to the gut. Dr. James Carter, her therapist, the one I'd been paying 15 grand a year for. I clenched my fists, my voice dropping. "So what, Emily? You're comparing me to a guy who's paid to talk to you? I'm killing myself to keep this family together, and you're praising him?" She stepped closer, her eyes wild. "You're never here, Michael. You're always working, always tired. You don't see me. You don't care." Her voice broke, and for a second, I saw the pain behind her anger. But then she kept going. "Dr. Carter's been there. He understands me. You just want me to be someone I'm not." I couldn't take it anymore. "I've given everything, Emily," I shouted, my voice echoing through the house. "I lost David too. I didn't get to grieve because I was working 70-hour weeks to pay for your degree, your therapy, this house. I'm not the bad guy here." Tears burned my cheeks, and I wiped them away, furious at myself for breaking. She stared at me, her face pale, but said nothing. The silence was worse than her words. I grabbed my jacket and walked out, the door slamming behind me. I got in the car and drove, the Seattle skyline blurring through my tears. Her words played on repeat failure. Selfish, nothing like Dr. Carter. I pulled over near Pike Place, the neon lights flickering in the dusk. I thought of Liam, his innocent smile, and how I'd failed to give him the family he deserved. I loved Emily, but her words had cracked something inside me. I didn't know if I could go back. Saturday mornings were usually hectic, but today I got a break. I was working my weekend job at a fancy restaurant near Pike Place Market, hoping for good tips to cover Liam's school supplies. Halfway through my shift, the manager pulled me aside. "Michael, it's slow today. Too many servers. Head home." I nodded, cleaned my tables, and left, my apron still smelling of coffee and grease. It was barely noon as I drove back to our house in Capitol Hill, the Seattle skyline glinting under a rare sunny sky. As I pulled into the driveway, I noticed a sleek black sedan parked there. It wasn't my mom's car, and Emily hadn't mentioned visitors. Maybe an Uber Eats driver. I thought Emily ordered takeout constantly, but something felt off, like a knot in my gut. I grabbed my keys, my steps heavy as I approached the front door. The house was quiet, but then I heard a laugh, bright and unfamiliar, followed by a muffled scream. It was Emily's voice coming from upstairs. My heart raced. I dropped my bag by the door, adrenaline surging through me. "Emily!" I shouted, taking the stairs two at a time. "Are you okay?" No answer. The knot in my stomach tightened as I reached the bedroom door. I pushed it open, and the world stopped. There was Emily, tangled in the sheets, her face flushed with a smile I hadn't seen in years, and with her was Dr. James Carter, her therapist, his shirt half unbuttoned, his hands on her. I froze, my breath caught in my throat. "What the hell is this?" My voice came out low, almost a growl. Emily's eyes widened, and she scrambled to pull the blanket over herself. Dr. Carter fumbled with his clothes, his face pale. "Michael, I can explain," she stammered, but her words felt hollow, like they were coming from someone else. "Explain?" I stepped forward, my fists clenched. "I've been killing myself for 5 years, Emily, working 60-hour weeks, raising Liam, cleaning this house, paying $15,000 a year for this guy to help you. And this is what I get?" My voice shook, the betrayal slicing through me like a knife. "I missed my brother's funeral to keep this family together. Did you even think about Liam? About me?" Emily's face crumpled, but she didn't back down. "You were never here, Michael," she said, her voice sharp. "You were always working, always too tired to care. I was lonely, drowning in this house, and James was there. He listened when you didn't." Her words hit like a slap, twisting the knife deeper. Dr. Carter stood, buttoning his shirt, avoiding my eyes. "Stay right there," I snapped at him. "You don't get to slink out of this." I turned back to Emily, my chest heaving. "You think I wanted to work those hours? I did it for us, for Liam, for you, to pay for your therapy, your degree you never finished, and you repay me by sleeping with the guy I paid to help you?" My voice broke, tears burning my eyes. "Did you ever love me, Emily? Or was I just the idiot keeping this house running?" She looked away, her hands trembling. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she whispered. "I was lost, and he made me feel seen." Dr. Carter mumbled something about boundaries, but I cut him off. "You took my money and my wife," I said, my voice cold. "Get out before I do something I regret." He grabbed his jacket and bolted. Emily sat there, silent, her eyes fixed on the floor. I wanted to scream, to break something, but all I felt was emptiness. I turned and walked out, the sound of my footsteps echoing in the quiet house. I got in my car, my hands shaking on the wheel. Seattle's streets blurred past, but all I could see was her face, smiling with someone else. I couldn't go back to that house, not after what I saw. My hands still shook as I drove to my mom's place in Bellevue, just outside Seattle. Liam was already there, playing with his dinosaurs in her backyard. I hugged him tight, his little arms wrapping around me, oblivious to the storm inside my chest. "Daddy, you're squeezing too hard," he giggled. I forced a smile, but my heart was breaking. How do you tell a 6-year-old his family's falling apart? That night, I crashed on my mom's couch, staring at the ceiling. The image of Emily and Dr. Carter burned into my mind. I felt betrayed, gutted, but beneath the pain, a strange relief flickered. For years, I'd carried the weight of our family alone, 60-hour weeks, endless chores, Liam's school runs. Maybe this was the push I needed to let go. I loved Emily, but I couldn't keep drowning for someone who'd already checked out. The next morning, I called a lawyer. My voice was steady as I explained everything: Emily's depression, the years of me holding it together, her affair with the therapist I'd paid for. I started gathering evidence, bank statements showing the $15,000 a year for Dr. Carter, texts from Emily begging me to come home that night I left. It wasn't about revenge, it was about protecting Liam and myself. I wanted a clean break, a chance to start over. Telling Liam was the hardest part. We sat on my mom's porch, the Seattle skyline faint in the distance. "Buddy, Mommy and Daddy aren't going to live together anymore," I said, my throat tight. His eyes welled up, his small voice trembling. "Why, Daddy, don't you love Mommy?" I pulled him close, tears spilling down my cheeks. "I do, but sometimes grown-ups need to be apart to be better for you," he sobbed, begging me to stay with her, his puppy eyes breaking my heart. I held him until he fell asleep, promising I'd never leave him. Over the next few weeks, I stayed with my mom, focusing on Liam. I found a small apartment in Fremont, closer to my office, where we could start fresh. Beach. I pictured it, a cozy place with Liam's dinosaur posters on the walls, a life where I could work 40 hours a week instead of 60, maybe even take him to the zoo on weekends. The thought felt like sunlight breaking through Seattle's endless clouds. I wasn't angry anymore, just tired and ready to move on. Emily called a few times, her voice a mix of anger and desperation. "Michael, we can fix this," she said once. "I'll try harder." But her words felt empty, like echoes of a life we'd lost. I didn't hate her. I pitied her, trapped in her grief, unable to see the family she still had. I told her we'd sort out custody and the house through the lawyers. I didn't want to fight, not in front of Liam. As I packed up my things from the house, I found an old photo of us at Alki Beach, Emily laughing, Liam a toddler in my arms. I traced her smile, wondering where that woman went. I tucked the photo away, not for me, but for Liam, so he'd remember we were happy once. Driving back to Bellevue, the radio played a soft song, and I felt a weight lift. For the first time in years, I could breathe. Liam and I would be okay. We had to be.